Hello, good day to you and welcome back to UK Movies, your home for all type of English drama.
Wilson Fisk solidifies his position as mayor prior to Daredevil, Born Again Episode 9, enacting martial law to prohibit vigilantes and working with Vanessa to transform Red Hook into a legitimate, independent money laundering area.
Vanessa manipulates Bullseye to target Foggy and assault Fisk. At Josie's, Matt Murdock gathers supporters to fight back.
Wilson Fisk's power.
Following his exoneration, Fisk uses his position as mayor to detain vigilantes, including Jack Duquesne and the Punisher.
His goal is to create a city-state in Red Hook so that illicit operations can be carried out lawfully. Vanessa's role, having used a broken Bullseye to operate as their muscle and try to neutralize threats, Vanessa is totally committed in the criminal organization.
Matt Murdock's approach.
Rather than depending on former defenders, Matt is assembling a new, smaller group of supporters to resist, rebel, and rebuild at Josie's pub, including Detective Angela Kim and Karen Page.
The Punisher's involvement. Frank Castle teams up with Daredevil to fight back against Fisk's corrupt task force, which has been utilizing his skull symbol.
Bullseye.
Now dressed in his traditional blue outfit, Benjamin Dex Poindexter retains a strong dislike for Fisk and is tricked by Vanessa before making his getaway.
Legal plot. The fight was very personal for Matt because Foggy Nelson was assassinated in a scheme hatched by the Fisks.
A huge cliffhanger at the end of the episode sets up a final confrontation between Fisk's dominance over the entire city and Matt's allies.
Recap of Daredevil, Born Again Episode 9, Killing in the Name, Season Finale.
This season finale of Daredevil, Born Again is a beautiful sight.
Talking about an episode where a man's skull is crushed on video and the Punisher murders every member of the NYPD like Jason Voorhees at Camp Crystal Lake may sound strange.
However, it is.
Additionally, the plot works flawlessly. This season felt short leading into this week's action, perhaps because the Netflix series Daredevil and Punisher had lengthier seasons, acclimating us to a particular cadence.
The often difficult overlay of showrunner Dario Scardapane's vision over that of the original creative team resulted in some odd substitutes and dead ends.
Muse is a sort of monster of the season figure, the bank heist episode, the marginalization of Karen Page and Frank the Punisher Castle, but co-writers Scardapane and Heather Belson do a fantastic job of having all of the season's various moving elements feel like they worked in unison to get us to what happens during this episode. From Matt's tense relationship with his anti-vigilante psychologist girlfriend Heather to the palace intrigue at the mayor's office to Bullseye's reappearance to the Red Hook subplot, which is essentially a sovereign port because of a 175-year-old legal loophole that Matt's deceased partner Foggy was about to expose, the Fisks plan to use it to establish their own city-state.
Much like the Trump administration continues to pretend it can one weird trick its way around.
The Bill of Rights.
Almost every strategy presented throughout the season is successful.
It is somewhat miraculous that this also applies to Karen and the Punisher, who previously shared perhaps an episode's worth of screen time. If you didn't know the chemistry between Wall and Cox, Wall and Bernthal, and Cox and Bernthal, that is. The actors themselves are so stunning that you can really see heat lines bending the image during their scenes together, and their characters are such exquisitely tortured beings.
Frank is left by Matt and Karen to locate Foggy's files and establish a connection. There is a lengthy discussion on how Matt could hear Karen's raised heartbeat near Frank, Frank's around Karen, and Karen's surrounding Matt himself after they leave Frank to look for Foggy's papers and a stab. Punisher tattoos having their throats ripped open and their fucking brains blown out by Frank Castle on screen. Graphically, that is. Large gouts of blood. Horribly fractured bones. Blasting round after bullet into a police officer's skull while holding his head down.
He tells the police gang that they are a bunch of clowns that he wouldn't urinate on if they were on fire, even after he has been subdued.
Disney's notorious legal staff has never been willing to tell the character's innumerable blue-clad Nazi fanboys this. However, Daredevil, Born Once More, it's ready to go there and is currently playing on Disney+.
Mayor Kingpin, a smiling criminal who keeps his political rivals in cages, disregards all legal authority, and blinks foolishly into the camera after declaring, "I love New York," as though the slogan has cut off any further thought, is in charge of it all. Daredevil gives a speech to mobilize support for his cause, just in case it wasn't obvious who this fascist piece of crap is supposed to represent. In the interest of bipartisanship, You're welcome to include the current and probably future Democratic mayors in the mix if you're in New York City.
Matt presents his argument over Radiohead's Everything in Its Right Place, a bold needle drop.
This is not his city, this is ours. And together, we can bring it back, all of us, the strong, the weak.
Refrain. Rebel and rebuild. Because we are the fearless city.
As the reader of this, you are not a blind ninja attorney.
You are not a mass-murdering vigilante with a nice skull symbol who was once a war criminal.
However, you're not a big NYC university bowing down to despotic commissars, a white-shoe legal firm bribing a tyrant, or a cowardly senator who votes to approve the newest person assigned to burn down the nation and plunder its ashes. As a human, you find happiness in more than just gaining wealth and power and humiliating and torturing those you consider to be your adversaries. All of these jerks.